Would you pray with me, please? Oh God, we come into your house, and I hope all of us have that same excitement. Hallelujah. We get to pray your word, we get to sing your word, we get to listen to your word. Lord, we just pray that you have opened our hearts to allowing it to fall on them and change our lives. May we have an experience this day through the power of the Holy Spirit with the living God. Through Jesus, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. In my last profession, and now this one, I think I've probably spent an inordinate amount of time in the trauma units and ICUs of hospitals. Came with the territory then, and it still comes with the territory today. And I was thinking about that this week, and we're there to see whichever one of you is in need. We're there to pray with you. We're there to try to let you know that God is with you and the great healer can see you through whatever's going on. But one of the things that's hard to ignore, besides the doctors and the nurses, because they need to be there, but have you ever paid attention to all the machinery in a place like that? You got heart monitors beeping and carrying on because to let the nurses know if your heart stops. I'm thinking that might be a good machine. You have IV poles that are now all electronic, and they put the little tube. It's kind of, everybody remember when you used to do the reel-to-reel projectors in high school? That's kind of what those new IV machines are like, because you have to loop it. There's a sensor in there that tells to put life-giving fluids into your body, to hydrate you, to give you medicine, to whatever you need. Matter of fact, I just want to know, why is that the one that always beeps? If technology is so great, why does it keep messing up? We have lung machines, we have ventilators. When you are so weak that you can't breathe on your own, sometimes they'll put you on that just to let your body regenerate itself, to get your strength back. But I mean, there's a constant worrying and buzzing and beeping and everything else about all those. But they're important, are they not? There's a lot of people alive today because those machines existed. But we get so hung up on the doctors and the nurses, we get so hung up on all the technology and all of the marvelous ways that they can help us nowadays, we miss the simplest of things. None of those would work without the plug. Without a power source, none of those machines would function or do what they're supposed to do. That's so important to plug them in. I mean, we refer to it if we're getting ready to end somebody's life because there's no hope. What do they call it? Pull the plug. We pull the plug. We disconnect the power from the machines that are allowing them to live. We don't do it until they're past living, but that's what we call it. We pull the plug. No matter how intricate those machines are, no matter how many computer circuit boards are inside, no matter that they can reach out and scratch my head for me, without the plug, they're useless. They have nothing to offer. They're just another piece of furniture in that hospital room. And I want to carry this analogy over into our Christian lives as well this morning. That the Bible says that we are intricate machines. Psalm 139, verses 13 through 15 says this: "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb." We're pretty special. God put us together much better than one of those machines. If you think I'm wrong, explain to me why when one thing in your body is out of whack, it affects everything else. You think there wasn't some master design going on there? Not evolution. Creation. Somebody that knew what they were doing put you together. That's the end of my science commercial. What we sometimes forget, though, is based on that, based on how intricate we are, based on how well we're put together, based on this machine that God said that the heart will do this, and the lungs will do this, and your digestive system will give you all the power, and your brain will tell the rest of them what to do. All that goes together, we sometimes forget. We have to stay plugged in. We, too, have a power source, do we not? It's not some fancy granola energy bar that we eat in the morning. My nursery attendant this morning came in with a box of those, and she told me how awful they were. And I'm going like, why would you eat them? Why would you eat them? If they're that bad, why would you eat them? And yet I know that the power source that I have isn't unpalatable at all. The one I've got is kind of sweet. But we forget the plug. And yet, throughout this book, and I'm not going to give you all the examples this morning, but throughout this book, as I look at the life of Jesus, I see this principle at work. We need power to function. In the story of his birth, we see that it was God's power that overwhelmed Mary and impregnated her with God's Son, with her permission. When Jesus came out of the desert to begin his ministry, he was filled with the Holy Spirit's power. Remember Luke 4 when he quoted Isaiah? The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. When Jesus sent his disciples out to do ministry, he gave them power to heal and cast out demons. When Jesus was resurrected and ascended into heaven, God placed him on the right-hand side, the position of power, to be our plug. And in the Great Commission, Jesus told his disciples, stay right here until the Holy Spirit comes and brings you the power of God so you can move into our work. They all needed to be plugged in. Jesus was the same way. Don't tell me that he hung on the cross and went through all he went through without having the plug being plugged into his Father. I don't believe it. Matter of fact, I'll probably argue that one with you over a couple cups of coffee. He had power that we never knew existed until he showed it to us. It all comes down to the fact that we need to be plugged in to be a Christian. Without the power source, we will cease to function, and that power source is God. And we get plugged into that power source through his Son, Jesus Christ. Amen? I'm not done yet. Just amen? Yeah, I just want to make sure I still have it. As we look at today's text, we find Jesus himself explaining this connection. Jesus himself explained our relationship to him as primary, not secondary, primary to everything else, and our existence depends on our union with him. I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch of mine that doesn't produce fruit, and he prunes the branches that do bear fruit, so they will produce even more. You have already been pruned and purified by the message I have given you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine, and you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Yes, I am the vine. You are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me is thrown away like a useless branch and withers. Such branches are gathered into a pile to be burned. But if you remain in me and my words remain in you, you might ask for anything you want, and it will be granted. When you produce much fruit, you are my true disciples or disciples. This brings great glory to my Father. Jesus, as he often does in his stories, was using something that the people of the day would recognize. There were great vineyards all over the place. They served as food on your table, and they served to make a wonderful drink called wine, which was pretty prevalent at the time. They would have been used to the vision that you could look down row upon row of these vines. And then as you look down row upon row, you saw not only the vine, but all kinds of branches coming off of it. They knew what kind of work the vineyard keepers had to put in. Because they went through those vines, and if they were given ugly fruit, like, I would use a comparison to first service, like if they were coming out already raisins, that's not a good grapevine. And they cut them off. They knew that if you pruned them the right way, that you actually got more branches and more fruit, and it was better fruit to eat, better fruit to make wine out of, better fruit all the way around. So they spent inordinate amount of time. I'm guessing they didn't have like those little Frisker shears that we've got today, but they managed. And if they did it all right, then it was okay. The fruit was good. And Jesus is telling his followers that he is that vine. He tells them the same thing that goes for that grape plant goes for you. The same thing that rules whether or not we get good fruit or bad fruit applies to us and our lives. And we are the branches, he says, and if we stay grafted to that vine, we'll be okay. I want it so bad in this message to compare you all to the sap that runs through, but I withheld myself. But that's exactly what happens in any plant like that, right? If the branches are not securely connected to the vine, they won't get the life-giving sap that feeds and nourishes the branch and the fruit. Have I got that right, farmers? Okay. I'm just a poor old city boy. Sometimes I want to make sure I'm right. But if that branch breaks, if the wind comes through and separates it from the vine, if you start cutting the good healthy ones, they won't produce anything, will they? Neither will we as followers of Jesus Christ, if we allow ourselves to be separated from the vine, will we produce good fruit. And I don't like the image of what happens to those kind of branches. They're thrown aside, they wither, and then they're burned. I don't like fire, unless I'm the one throwing a fusee in the burn pit. I don't like fire. Fire hurts, does it not? Fire destroys. And I think he's alluding to what happens at the end of your life. And it doesn't have to be that way. Because he says it pretty plainly. Yes, I am the vine. You are the branches. You don't need me to break that one down, do you? Oh, pretty in your face, is it not? Then why don't we get it? Why don't we stay plugged in? Why don't we always attach to the vine? Sometimes we just kind of like in a windstorm. We get blown around in all different directions and things happen and we don't get the power that we need to survive and thrive. And there are all kinds of false vines out there growing, aren't there? Let's talk about the vines of money and politics. It's all about having power over the other branches, isn't it? Let's talk about the vines that don't know that they're really vines. Vines where we get the vines of personal gratification. I want to produce fruit, but you don't get in there. I'm going to eat it all myself. I'm only growing it for me. Then we get some fake vines. We get vines of people that want us to follow them because, you know, crystals are a really cool thing and you can buy them out of the catalog. I'm still trying to understand the faith of Scientology that was founded by a science fiction writer in 1984. That one still kind of bothers me. We have vines that are based on witchcraft. If you are connected to one of those vines, your fruit's going to suffer. It'll probably be even worse than raisins. And you can tell which vine the branches are attached to by the fruit they produce. That's why I had Janice read that passage this morning. If I'm a branch on the wrong vine, or if I'm a branch and I'm not still connected to the vine, then I get things like sexual immorality, impurity, lustful pleasures, idolatry, sorcery, hostility, quarreling, jealousy, outbursts of anger, selfish ambition, dissension, division, envy, drunkenness, wild parties, and other sins like these. And I gotta tell you, there's not a week goes by that I don't somehow deal with somebody that has one of those fruits, or has been affected by one of them. But if I'm grafted to the right vine, if my branches are pure, if I'm getting the right power source, then I get the ones that are known as the fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And you know, we talk about all the gifts that we get from the Spirit, and so we're able to do this or that or whatever. Everybody gets, and you only get a few of those, everybody gets these. Every Christian has those fruits. They're not separated out. They're all together. And the deeper you go in your faith, the more you stay plugged in, the more that you enjoy the power of Jesus Christ, the more of those will be exhibited in your life. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. The sap of life, God's Holy Spirit runs through these branches, and God, the Master Gardener, will prune you. Some of you have already been pruned. That's why you're where you're at today. Sometimes being a Christian and being plugged in isn't always pleasurable, is it? Sometimes bad things do happen to good people. Sometimes a little rain must fall when you don't want it to. But you understand, usually that's God pruning your life to get you onto the plan that He set for you clear back when in the words of the psalmist, if you go past where I read you in 139, it will tell you that all the days of your life were laid out before Him before you were born. That doesn't mean you're a robot. Doesn't mean that you have to do it. What it means is God made you for a reason. God set a plan. The question is, are you still on it? Sometimes we start to wonder, we get that pruning to get us back where we need to be. Kids are upset me on getting late here. Kids are frustrated. Because I think that was Galen that was crying. But understand that He only prunes the one that He wants to grow. If you weren't grafted on, if you weren't called for a purpose, if you weren't doing something, or if God didn't want you to do something, He wouldn't bother. You just end up on the burner pile. So as we continue to look at this question that we started at the beginning of Lent, who do you say that I am? That Jesus asked His disciples. We answer today with the fact that He is the vine, which brings life to the branches. Jesus is the power source for our lives, both here on earth and for all of eternity. So my question for you this day is pretty simple. Are you plugged in? Are you plugged in? And are you plugged in to the right source? Because if you're not, you're bearing the wrong kind of fruit. It's really very simple. If you're plugged into Jesus, you have life here and in the future. If you're not plugged in, you know the consequences. Amen.